Okay, there's going to be a lot of people gone for football, I guess, at the end of the day. So I'm recording this lecture. It's only recording my voice and like the stream. So like it has no idea. You have no idea what I'm doing right now. Not a clue. It's not a video. This video screen. So yesterday we talked about how your spending actually has a multiplied effect on the economy, and if we talk about K, which is our spending multiplier. If you spend money, or the government spends money, or businesses spend money, or foreigners spend money in our economy, it's going to have a multiplied effect, depending on what the MPC and MPS is. Because the multiplier is 1 over MPS. But there is a different multiplier. And the different multiplier is the tax multiplier. And the tax multiplier basically says that there's going to be any change in taxes times this new multiplier KT, so not KS anymore, KS was the spending multiplier, S for spending, now KT, the tax multiplier, that's going to give us some sort of change in real GDP now, a multiplied effect change. And the tax multiplier, the equation is KT is equal to either negative MPC over 1 minus MPC, or negative MPC over MPS, because remember, 1 minus MPC is MPS. So just memorize one of them. So KS is 1 over MPS. KT is negative MPC over MPS. Notice how MPS, the marginal propensity to save, is in the denominator for both. Okay, so don't confuse the denominator. The denominator is the same. It's just what the numerator is going to be different. Okay. Going back to our problem yesterday, this was our MPC from our problem. It was say that Americans spend 75% of any increase of income and save 25%. And we figured out yesterday that our MPS, our savings is 0.25, 25%, the decimal form is 0.25. And our marginal propensity to consume, which is the spending and consumption one, should be 0.75. And that makes sense because them added together does equal 1. And if this was the case, do y'all remember what the spending multiplier turned out to be? It was 4. Because it was KS 1 over MPS. And we talked about how to do fractions within fractions and whatever. And then I lost interest because I know how to do it my way, and my way is fine too. Which is how many quarters over the dollar, or how many moves to decimal places over. Either way, the spending multiplier is 4. Well, what about a change in taxes? Let's say that we have still the same MPCs and MPSs as a scenario. Like the scenario has not changed. Now we're going to figure out the tax multiplier, which is KT, or tax multiplier. Remember, it's negative MPC over MPS. So with our MPCs and MPSs right up here, what should be in the numerator? Don't forget, negative 0.75. Oh. And Victoria, what was in the denominator? The MPS, which is what? 0.25. Okay. How can you figure out negative 0.75 divided by 0.25? What's one way that you can figure it out?
How many quarters go in 3 quarters?
How many quarters? Yay! I caught someone. How many quarters go in 75 cents? 3. Oh, don't forget something though. Negative 3. How else could you have done that? Yes, that's how you solve the division problem. By dividing. But how would you divide easily in your head?
You take 75 and you put like a box over it on the outside.
You could.
And then you underline 7, but 25 doesn't go into 7.
Right.
So then you underline 75.
Right.
25 goes into 75 3 times.
Okay, long division. Love long school long division. Old school long divisions. You can move some decimal places over. If you do it up top, you can do it on the bottom. 25 goes into 75 3 times. Or you can do your weird fractions within fractions. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, hold on. I know that that's 3/4. Oh God. And then that's a 4,
4 over 1.
but that has to flip
Yeah.
for some reason.
Because you're.
Doesn't matter, I don't care. 4 over 1. And then you say, those match, so they don't do anything? Because apparently that's...
Yeah, because if you did 3 times 1 over 4, and then it would be 3, but you can just do it early and cross out the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
so like, it's not like you're just crossing out to 2,
No.
it's just easier steps.
Yeah.
12 over 4, which is 3. So,
And then is it 3 over 1?
yeah.
Which is 3? Negative 3? Oh, God. Man, you're like better math teachers than I had. Sorry, you're a math teacher listening. My math teachers. But they're all retired. So. Okay, so that's negative 3. Okay, so KT equals negative 3. So what does that mean? That means any change of taxes, in this case, times negative 3, that will be our change in real GDP. So here's our example. Let's say the government cuts taxes. The government cuts taxes by $100 million. Cutting taxes means like you're lowering taxes, you're getting rid of them. So that cutting is going to be negative. Like subtracting taxes. If I say raises taxes, then be a plus. But times negative 3. Negative, positive 300. That means GDP is actually going to go up by $300 million in this case.
So, like, everything get a job.
That
How it
means,
would work?
that means, let's say you get $1 back in taxes. How much of it are you going to actually spend? No. How much of this, remember this problem started off with this. You're going to spend 75 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to pocket 25 cents. And so that 75 cents, that's why it has... No, that's not right. Hello? Oh, she's not here. Okay. So, that's what it means. That like you are spending, but your spending is coming from a tax change. So you are pocketing 25 cents and you're spending the other 75 cents. And so consumption's going up, which means GDP is going up. I have no idea how much you're going to get in tax return, but I know that whatever you get, 75% you will spend and you will save the other 25%, and then that is changing
But it's
GDP.
going to average roundability.
I don't know.
So, like, some people get.
Yeah, it's just going to have a $300 million change on GDP. I don't know if that's like middle class or rich people or poor people or what. I have no idea where it's going. I just know the effect of it. Does that make sense?
So, tax cuts aren't necessarily spread equally among the people.
No, God, no. No. No.
I don't pay attention to all of them.
Yeah, but you should because they directly affect your paycheck.
I mean, they will soon.
No, do you get paid now?
Yeah, but, like, it's at the point where it's like, I don't get paid enough to really care how much it is.
But that's the whole point. You don't get paid enough, and that could be changed if you cared more.
Yeah, but then if I get paid more, then everything's going to cost more. And then, like,
Not necessarily.
well, if I get paid more, then other people are going to have to get paid more. Because, like, it's not like my job is that skill required. Like, I'm a plus. So,
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's the tax problem, and this was government cuts taxes by $100 million, and it led to a $300 million change. Kaylee, do you remember what our spending multiplier was for those same MPCs and MPSs that we talked about yesterday? I mentioned it earlier. Yeah, it was 4. It was positive 4, right? And so remember that was some sort of change in. Ooh, don't want. Don't. Okay. Here was. Problem 1. Oh. There we go. Here's problem 2. Some sort of change in spending times KS is going to give us some sort of change in real GDP. And we said KS is 4. If the government spent, forget taxes, they don't want to tax you guys anymore, they don't want to cut your taxes. Instead, they decide, you know what, we're going to take it upon ourselves and we're just going to raise our own spending by 100 million. What happens to GDP? Bye. Okay. This is government raises spending. Oh, yeah. From the problem from yesterday, we worked it out, but it's the same math. Like, this was, thank you for asking. Remember how we did this yesterday with spending multiplier? Greater 1 over MPS? And so this, it's not 4 all the time. Spencer, yeah. It's not 4 all the time. It's just 4 if the MPC is 0.75 and MPS is 0.25. But if those are to change, the multipliers will change. Okay. I want you now hopefully you wrote that down, those 2 examples, because those 2 examples are kind of important. I want you to now study those examples. And I want you to see similarities or the differences and focus on what did taxes do, what did spending do, what did GDP do, and what does it matter. So I want you to turn to people next to you. I'm not going to give you the answer. So if you guys don't figure it out, we keep on. So hold on. Talk to people next to you. Unless you have questions. Okay. Yes. This is government spending 100 million. This is the government cutting your income taxes by 100 million. Okay? Talk to people next to you. Look at the difference. Why is there a difference? Does it matter? And what would that mean?
And also don't want to raise my taxes.
They're not the ones. They hire. Okay. I want you to squiggly line it.
What? Paper?
Yeah, the paper that hopefully you continued from yesterday because it's the same thing and the editing cycle. We did here's what. We did so what. Now what? Now what? Now what do we do? Seeing pure math, what was something that you noticed about the differences between the 2 equations, or the differences between the 2 outputs, like the GDP change? Okay.
Government spending has have a higher effect or a larger effect than cutting taxes did the same amount of money was used.
Yes, the government. Let's say there's a recession, and I know that it's hard for you guys to imagine there's a recession because, well, we're not in one now, and last time we were, y'all weren't aware of it because you were 5. But if we're in a recession, like, no one's spending any money, the economy's in the tank, unemployment's really high, cyclical unemployment is really high, and people are desperate. And the government's all like sitting there thinking, what can we do? Well, we're concerned, like we buy things, we could just raise our own spending, fix the economy. Or we can cut taxes and give people more money to spend. Jake, what are they probably going to do? Why? That's a bigger bang for your buck. Yes. If given the option between like cutting taxes and increasing government spending, the government will choose spending every single time. And you're like, why don't they just give us money to spend? Why don't they just cut our taxes? Why are they so hands-on? Why are they so like wanting more control? And it's math. It is pure math. 400 is bigger than 300. I can do the same amount of spending and or tax cuts because the spending multiplier always is bigger in every scenario. In fact, it's always one more bigger. So if I tell you the spending multiplier is 100, you know without knowing any other math, like you don't have to know equations, you don't need to know MPCs or MPSs, you know if the spending multiplier is 100, the tax multiplier is going to be negative 99. That's the relationship between the two. So it's like, here are all these formulas you have to remember. Technically, you only need to remember one. And like this spending multiplier, 1 over MPS. Because if you figure that out, tax multiplier is always one less and negative. And so under the idea of now what, government spending always yields a greater change in GDP. Always changes GDP by a larger amount than a tax change. And the reason behind that is because KS, the spending multiplier, is always larger than KT. No matter MPC or MPS, I can give you millions of MPCs and MPSs. KS always is greater. One more greater. And the tax multiplier will always be less. One less greater. Okay, so what does it have to do with like politics? Sarah?
Conservatives always want tax cuts, but liberals always want more government control stuff.
So, well, no, for the most part. No, that's a general statement. That's mainly how it is. Like if like conservatives run on like vote for me, I'll cut taxes. I'll get you more money to spend. You'll have a bigger paycheck. You're going to get more money to spend. Yay. Well, you will get more money to spend. That is true. Your paycheck will grow if you have less taxes. You can't argue that. And then Democrats, for the most part, they're all like, no, we're going to spend the money. The government's going to spend the money. We're going to have government bailouts, or think of like FDR, like the New Deal. We're going to have blah, 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 lots of spending, lots of government spending. And people are like, well, who's right? From a mathematical point of view, Democrats are. On Monday, we're going to talk about the Republicans' rebuttal. About like, what? Oh, you win this round because you're right, 400 is greater than 300. And then Monday, we're going to talk about how Republicans are going to be like, well, this is the effect, the long-run effect of your plan. So kind of both sides are represented. But from a pure mathematical standpoint, which is better, tax cuts or government spending? Government spending. 100% of the time because math is right. Math works. So score is greater than -3. Jake, you all right over there? Okay. Okay, well, just make sure that since we're in economics, we're speaking in positive statements, facts, not normative ones. A positive statement says 4 is greater than 3.
I mean, yes, that's true.
That is true.
There's no rebuttal against us.
That is correct. Well, I mean, there is. It's Monday. Monday, I'm going to say
Well,
the
there's
rebuttal.
no rebuttal that's forward.
Oh, yes. Well, preview of Monday of like, what does, oh, well, you should know this. Oh, you should know this. What does spending, too much spending for government, too much government spending called? They can run something. They can run a deficit. Like deficit spending. Which, by the way, no, Reaganomics is the opposite.
Yeah. Let's go there.
That's the tax cut one. Yeah. Reaganomics is what cut taxes for the wealthy, and it'll trickle down. So you fix that house. Yeah. Yay, we're. Oh God, what was I saying? Oh, deficits. Yeah, it just came out like just yesterday. I got a news alert on my phone of like my news source. They're like, hey, deficits just hit for the first time ever $1 trillion, which is we spend $1 trillion more than we take in. Yeah, that's a lot. That's like a lot of money. It is a real number. It's right, like before $1 trillion and one.
China one day is just gonna be like, where's our $1 trillion?
Okay, you know that they can't ask for that money back, right?
Yeah, no.
Like, I mean, technically they can, but they'll never. Why not?
I don't think there's that much.
They don't have debt to us. We have debt to them. We have something like $7 trillion of debt to them.
Because we got that
Yeah,
big
yeah.
military.
That's the right response.
Because we got that big military.
No, to China. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let's talk about China. I love China. I love the relationship we have with China. It's so screwed up. It's like the worst relationship in history. I need money. That's what I'm saying. I need money. I'm a little person. Money. This is how China works. Okay. People on the internet, you don't really